It is Wednesday, the 13th day of July 2022. Good evening and welcome to Newswatch and Hope TV, where you look and live. I'm Tess Njenga, and our sign language interpreter is Fiona Mweresa. You can also find us streaming live on YouTube and Facebook at Hope TV Kenya. Let us kick off. From court, former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko has been cleared by the High Court to vie for the Mombasa gubernatorial seat following months of court battles after the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission barred him from running. The three-judge bench in Mombasa has directed the county returning officer and IEBC to accept nomination papers of Sonko, and further ruled that Sonko is eligible under the Constitution to vie for the governor position in Mombasa. As Kennedy Kimani now reports, Mike Sonko will now face 7 other candidates who were cleared by IEBC in the race to succeed Governor Joho.
It is a reprieve for former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko, who has today been cleared by the High Court to vie for the Mombasa governor's seat under the Wiper Party ticket. The Mombasa High Court bench, which comprised of Mombasa resident Judge Olga Sewe, Stephen Githinji and Anne Oginjo, ruled that IEBC acted unreasonably to disqualify Sonko from the race and have now directed the electoral body to accept Sonko's nomination and gazette him for the race. In question was Sonko's eligibility to run for governor of Mombasa after being impeached by the County Assembly of Nairobi. However, through his lawyer John Haminwa, Sonko argued that it is prejudicial to exclude him from vying due to his impeachment, arguing that his impeachment proceedings have not been concluded and that they are currently pending at the Supreme Court. Mike Sonko will now face the other 7 candidates who were cleared by IEBC in the race to succeed Governor Joho on the 9th of August. Kennedy Kimani, Hope TV Newswatch.
Thank you, Kennedy, for that report. Now, in politics still, Deputy President William Ruto has called on his supporters to vote him in for a real change of empowering the youth with vast job opportunities. Speaking to residents of Mugambo in Nyamira County, Ruto said that his perceived anger emanates from the current state of affairs in the country. At the same time, Ruto slammed his opponents, saying they don't quite understand the real needs of the people, hence they are not in a position to plan for the betterment of the economy of the country. Ruto also dismissed allegations that he was losing ground in the race to become the country's next president as put forward by his opponents.
Sisi watu wa Nyamira tunataka kuungana na Wakenya wote ili tuchague William Samoei Ruto awe president ya Kenya. Si namna hiyo? Ni nani atakuwa president wa 5 wa Kenya? Ni William Samoei.
Na kila mahali tumeenda, Wakenya wanalia bei na gharama ya maisha. Hii kura tunaenda kupiga ni kura ya kuteremsha bei ya unga, ni kura ya kuteremsha bei ya gorogoro.
Hii trickle down ya kuanzia juu, wale watu wa chini wanazama kwa sababu hawapatikani. Nyinyi kama watu wa hapa Nyamira, mnasema tuendelee kupanga na juu, mngojee chini, na hamjui chini itafika siku gani. Mnasema tubadilishe, tuanze na chini. Mnasema tubadilishe, tuanze na chini, ili tupange ajira hawa vijana hapa chini, na tupange biashara yenu hapa chini, na tupange kilimo yenu hapa chini, ndio tupande na kila mtu. Tuanze bottom, alafu tuende up. Bottom. Safari hii, jameni, msikubali tucheze karata na maisha yetu. Mimi nakuuliza wewe mtu wa Nyamira, sawa sawa? Tumesema kama Kenya Kwanza, na iko kwa manifesto yetu, tunapunguza gharama ya mbolea kutoka hiyo 7,000 ya saa hii mpaka shilingi 2,500. Tuwapatie mbegu, tusaidie kila mkulima ili asalishe chakula zaidi.
The media coverage of the Kenya Kwanza coalition flag bearer William Ruto has now increased and overtaken that of Azimio la Umoja One Kenya competitor Raila Odinga. This is according to the Media Council of Kenya, MCK, latest media monitoring report released on Wednesday. DP Ruto, who has traversed the country popularizing his presidential bid, has received more coverage due to his recent manifesto launch, as well as criticism surrounding the manifesto. Tony Omondi has this report.
As the country is just 3.5 weeks to the much contested general election, the question of media coverage on politicians has been a thorny issue, with politicians labeling some media houses as partisan or favoring some political candidates in their coverage. Just recently, the Kenya Kwanza Brigade faulted several media houses for allegedly giving them blackout and favoring others. The Media Council of Kenya, that has championed for equal coverage of political candidates, has been monitoring media coverage of the various political contestants, especially the presidential candidates. In the latest report released by the council, the media coverage of Kenya Kwanza coalition flag bearer Dr. William Ruto has increased and overtaken that of Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance Raila Odinga. According to data from the first week of July 2022, Dr. Ruto's media coverage volumes stand at 46% against Raila's 45%. Roots Party's George Wajakoya is third at 6%, while Agano Party's David Maure received 3% publicity. The report has attributed DP Ruto's coverage increase to his coalition manifesto launch on June 30th and subsequently the criticism it received from the opponents. According to the Media Council report, the Kenya Kwanza coalition received 14% mention in print media compared to Raila's 12% and 61% coverage in radio against Raila's 58%. While Ruto leads in both print and radio coverage, Raila retains an edge over the DP on television coverage at 29% against DP Ruto's 26%. The media coverage of Roots Party presidential candidate George Wajakoya and Agano's David Maure significantly increased after the launch of their manifestos. Meanwhile, even as journalists cover political functions, the MCK report shows that most journalists feel safer working with Raila Odinga's Azimio la Umoja coalition than Ruto's Kenya Kwanza. The survey that gauged perception of media and journalists towards presidential candidates indicated that 49% feel safer working with Azimio Oka coalition, while Kenya Kwanza received 31% backing and only 17% feel comfortable covering Roots Party George Wajakoya. The discomfort by the media, according to the report, has been attributed to frequent removal of journalists from Kenya Kwanza functions, including during the party's National Delegates Conference and public gatherings in Njoro, Nakuru County. The MCK also cited the alleged planned Kenya Kwanza boycott of the upcoming presidential debate organized by the Media Owners Association, the Kenya Editors Guild, and the Media Council of Kenya. The MCK has called on political formations and contestants to assure media of their safety while covering their campaigns.
We want a peaceful election and we are committed.
Tuingie na wewe, tushikane na wewe, ana kwa ana.
When you talk on things that are not right, you ought actually to do some research instead of coming out to condemn me.
By the people and finally for the people.
Tony Omondi for Hope TV Newswatch.
Thank you, Tony, for that report. Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i has urged politicians not to drag security officers into election-related disagreements and unwarranted criticism. He said such acts are likely to undermine the morale and the focus of the officers, which could end up affecting their preparedness for the August 9th polls. Speaking while presiding over the passing out parade for administrative officers course at National Police College in Embakasi, Matiang'i said the security sector has prepared to support the institutions that will be conducting the elections. The CS said he was satisfied with security preparations across the 47 counties. The CS, who held the second last meeting with the security chiefs ahead of the poll, declared the country safe, warning that the security apparatus is on high alert to thwart possible poll chaos.
Across the 47 counties in Kenya, Peace building activities have been going on, direct engagement in all structures of security, from the National Government Administration, the police, Nyumba Kumi, elders, and non-state actor agencies has gone on very well. The IEBC has been in touch with the National Police Service, and IEBC officials across the country have been in touch with our national security structures. All the polling stations, except those that are in security sensitive areas, have all been reviewed jointly by IEBC and our security agencies. And our security agencies have made recommendations where necessary on the security, accessibility, and so on of the polling stations. This is not the time to say those kinds of things we keep saying all the time, persuading people and telling them, you know, don't break the law, don't do this, and so on. Kenyans would like a peaceful election. And that's what the message we are getting from everyone. We interact with Kenyans, our religious leaders across the board, our civic leaders across the board, our non-state actor agencies from civil society, and everyone is asking us, let's have a peaceful election. And that's what we all want, and that's what we all desire. And that's what we in the security sector have a duty to ensure happens. And we will ensure it.
I beg your pardon. Kenya and Tanzania governments have embarked on a joint cross-border mass drug administration exercise in an effort to fight trachoma. The collaborative approach, launched at Olposimoro area in Narok West sub-county, seeks to eliminate the blinding disease that affects close to 3.6 million people in both countries. Ministry of Health Vector Bone and Wycliffe Omondi, who represented the Health CAS, Dr. Patrick Amoth, said that drug administration remains the most effective way to deal with trachoma. Tanzania NTD Program Manager George Kambona said that the coordinated efforts between the two governments will ensure a greater reach to the pastoral Ma community as compared to the previous efforts by the two countries to deal with the problem independently.
Trachoma is the leading cause of blindness, avoidable blindness. It is prevalent in endemic places like Narok, and without the partnership that I've just mentioned, it will be very difficult to eradicate trachoma, because we are earmarked to actually eradicate trachoma by the year 2025 from this county.
Tumeshafanya tathmini kadhaa baada ya kutekelezaji. Maambukizi yamekwenda chini ya 15% kwa upande wa Tanzania, kwa maeneo yote ya Ngorongoro na Kenya. Kwa hiyo kuna mafanikio, lakini changamoto tunayoiona hapa ni kwamba jamii iliyoko eneo hili ni aina moja, na tunaamini kuna maingiliano ya mbinu za maisha, lakini mbinu pia za kudhibiti magonjwa, na tusingependa ugonjwa uondoke upande mmoja wa nchi moja ukabaki kwenye nchi nyingine.
The fastest way of reducing the prevalence is through taking this medication, and that is why the government is going out of its way to ensure that we provide this preventive medication to the community members. So my call is to the community members to participate and take this medication that are being provided free of charge. In fact, the government is striving to reach the community members door to door. So we are delivering this medication from one door to another to ensure that we reach all the affected community members.
Well, on that note, let us take our first break on Newswatch tonight. We have plenty more news coming up, so don't go too far.
Treasure Hunt.
Treasure Hunt on Hope TV.
We bring you great content for boys and girls in this new season of Treasure Hunt.
Kisha za Simba shambani. Kisa cha Simba shambani.
Treasure Hunt Saturdays at 9 a.m. only on Hope TV.
Hope TV is where you look and live, with an excellent selection of the best Christian programming consisting of local and international content of inspirational stories, talk shows, Bible commentary, youth, health shows, children entertainment, contemporary gospel music, extended times of worship, live broadcast, news, movies, drama, Christian ministry programs, and so much more. Hope TV is another quality service from Christ is the Answer Ministries, with over 45% of authentic and credible local content every week. Hope TV is a sister station to Hope FM, Kenya's leading Christian radio station, with footprints across the country. Tune in to Hope TV, where you look and live.
Welcome back. Glad you're still with us. Now, a family in Rupingazi Estate in Embu Town is distraught following the disappearance of their twin boys on Tuesday afternoon as they prepared to report back to school. According to their mother, Naisera Mudhoni, the 15-year-old identical twins, Leon Masharia and Ryan Mwenda, who are in Form 2 at Moi High School, Biruri and Kangaroo Boys High School, respectively, vanished around midday. She said they took off to an unknown destination, leaving their uniform and school bags behind when she went out of their sight to prepare to drop them in their respective schools. Mudhoni, a teacher at Nyangwa Boys High School, said the boys have had no indiscipline issues since birth, and the only concern they had with the parents was being separated in secondary school. Mudhoni said they downplayed the concern and never thought it could escalate and force them to run away from home. The worried mother is now pleading with members of the public to help trace them.
In Form 1 hawakuwa na issue. But now this term, hii holiday, we have talked so much about the separation. Kwa nasema shule kwetu kuna twins, bado wako pamoja. Wambirwe nasema hata kuna triplets, na bado wako pamoja. So why were we separated? Anasema marafiki walikuwa wanauliza mbona mlikubali. But our desire was to have them become individuals. But we didn't know it was affecting them this much until yesterday. Because even when they would raise that issue, I would just brush it off and I'll be, see, you're doing well. See, you have settled. So I never took it very seriously. So naona kama hiyo ndio ilichangia. Because unaona wameitime when they were about to open the school. Na walikuwa wanaongea pamoja na waambia si Murundi tujitayarisha, waniambia unajua tutaonana tena mpaka August, tupatie time tuongee. So naona imechangiwa na wao kuwa mashule tofauti because hatukuwa na issues at all. Wanatembea pamoja na wanafanana sana. Tafadhali tunjulishe ama ujulishe the nearest police station.
Moving on, security agencies in Embu on Tuesday arrested 2 robbery suspects and confiscated a gun with 12 rounds of ammunition and a pair of handcuffs in their abode in Siakago town in Bere North Sub-County. Assorted items including crude weapons, electronic goods and mobile phones as well as household items were also recovered from the suspect's house during the raid. Detectives believe the duo, a young male and female, are linked to various criminal activities across the county, including armed robberies, housebreaking, and burglary. County Commissioner Edison Nyale said the arrest followed a tip-off from members of the public in the area.
Hii ndio silaha imepatikana na ina ya pastola, inaye ile kifaa hapa inawekwa marisasi. Imepatikana kwa mshukiwa. Na marisasi iko hapa ambayo ni 12 milimita ya hii bunduki ni 9 millimeters. Lakini kwa kujua jina ya bunduki mpaka wataalamu wenye kuhusika na silaha ndio watakuja kueleza ni bunduki aina gani. Sababu imeshikashika, imefanywa ukarabati, hatuwezi jua ni aina gani. Wataalamu ndio watakuja waseme, watatueleza ni vurugu ina gani.
Hii ni hatua kubwa kama county, mkijua kwamba tumeamua kupigana vita dhidi ya aina yote uhalifu. Iwe ni uhalifu kuhusu mambo ya pombe duni, uhalifu wa uvamizi kama huu, uhalifu wa kubaka, uhalifu wa hata ya wizi wa aina yote ule. Sisi kama kamati ya usalama katika Embu County tutapambana kikamilifu kuona kwamba tunaweza kuzuia na hata kudumisha amani.
The national government has created 6 new sub-counties in the coastal region in a bid to take services closer to the people. Coast Regional Commissioner John Elungata disclosed that Kwale, Kilifi and Tana River counties each received 2 new administrative units for enhanced service delivery to the people. Elungata identified the new units as Chonyi, Kauma, that is Kilifi, Samburu, Shimba Hills of Kwale and Bangale and Galedetu in Tana River. Elungata, who was flanked by Mombasa County Commissioner John Otieno and Deputy Regional Police Commander Peter Njeru, asked politicians to ensure that peace continues to reign in the region as they hunt for votes.
There was a specific reason why we wanted those sub-counties. I'm happy at least Shimba Hills is now on board, and I think we will be able to staff it before the elections. So, akida rafiki yangu ambayo yuko huko, hakikisha kwamba unatayarisha infrastructure, nyumba, ofisi, nini, tumekupa gari, hakikisha kwamba watu wanajua kuna sub-county inaitwa Shimba Hills. I notice we have quite a number of vacancies in the positions of chief and assistant chief. You know, when we don't have an assistant chief in a place, even the police are not able to operate properly. So we are going to staff them before the elections. I think we've already given approval for the filling of those positions, and I think adverts have gone out. We expect people applying. We have about 30 days. I think within that time we should have those officers in place. We should fill those positions so that every part is covered. So as we approach the August 9th elections, the government has identified a number of threats that we must address. You know, in order for us to have a successful election, we're not asking you to campaign. No, we are asking you to ensure that your area is safe for the election.
The national government, through the National Fund for the Disabled of Kenya, NFDK, on Tuesday donated equipment and cash grants amounting to 14.85 million Kenya shillings to people living with disability and institutions for persons with disability in the eastern region. The equipment, including farming, carpentry, and welding tools, sewing and knitting machines, as well as barber and saloon kits, were aimed at economically empowering PLWDs, according to NFDK trustee Michael Kiswili. Speaking at the Eastern Regional Headquarters in Embu Town, Kiswili called on the beneficiaries, especially individuals, to make good use of the tools of trade to improve their social and economic status.
Whatever you get, look after that. That is your lifeline. Usiwe na temptation ya uende uuze au uweke kwa nyumba. No. You better be like the one who was given the talents na akaenda akasifanya sigazana, si ndio? That way unaweza kuemploy somebody. That way you can also feed your family. That way unaweza kuinua maisha yako. Kwa hivyo yetu ni kusema make use of that seed also on your part and make sure that you become productive.
Ni muhimu wananchi waweze wasifiche wale watoto ambao wamezaliwa wakiwa na ulemavu, waweze kuwachukua kama watoto wengine, waweze kusaidika. Kama kuna mtu anaishi na ulemavu na angelitaka kusaidiwa, kuna forms ambazo ni za kuitisha usaidizi. Form hizo zinapatikana kwa ofisi ya naibu wa chifu, zinapatikana kwa ofisi ya chifu, zinapatikana kwa ofisi ya social services, zinapatikana kwa ofisi ya DO, zinapatikana kwa ofisi ya deputy county commissioner.
Nimeweza kusaidiwa na toolkit itakayoniwezesha to be dependent, sababu sometimes as people who are abled differently, sometimes watu hufikiria it's like we are burdens to them, but when we have been given this toolkit itatuwezesha kuanzia biashara ambazo zitatusaidia na tutaweza kujisimamia kimaisha.
Let us now cross our borders. South Africa police have arrested 3 people in connection with the deaths of 21 teenagers at an East London tavern last month after the Liquor License Board filed a complaint with the police. The suspects, including the Enyobeni tavern owner, were detained for allegedly selling alcohol to underage children. And in Sri Lanka, Prime Minister Ranil has announced a state of emergency across the country as protesters take to the streets of the commercial capital Colombo hours after President Gotabaya Rajapaksa fled the country for the Maldives after a standoff at the airport yesterday. Here is Faith Selfa with a roundup of international news.
You know we can't forget them. And neither can you. Enjoy all-time classics every Thursday at 11 a.m.
A very warm welcome back. Let's take a look at business. Family Bank has signed a 350 million Kenya shillings 2-year partnership with Aqua for All to facilitate increased lending to medium and small-scale water enterprises supplying low-income communities with safe drinking water, either through piping systems or water kiosks throughout Kenya. Aqua for All, a foundation that specializes in innovative finance for water and sanitation, and Family Bank are targeting community-based water service providers in order to provide improved access to clean, safe water to over 280,000 people. Speaking during the signing ceremony, Family Bank CEO Rebecca Mbidi acknowledged that access to affordable credit in the water and sanitation economy remains a challenge.
Partnership is really the first of its kind in providing unsecured lending to community-based small-scale water service providers. Kenya in itself as a country is extremely important for our organization. We have facilitated many entrepreneurs and initiatives in the water and sanitation sector for over 20 years already. And to date in Kenya, we were able to establish the largest portfolio of all the work that we do.
And their latest analysis indicates that globally 80% of all the countries indicate that there's insufficient funding to reach their national targets, let alone the more ambitious Sustainable Development Goal targets. In addition, you can also see that official development assistance for the water sector, the commitments for that are actually declining. Also, 1/3 of all the countries participating in the Joint Monitoring Program analysis, 1/3 of those countries have only defined, agreed on, and a financing plan for the sector.
The issue of water has become quite topical. Even as we sit here, the statistics in Kenya still are not good. We are only talking about 53% of our urban population having access to clean water. That tells you that 47% of our urban populations don't have that access to clean water. And I was just reflecting that we might think that water is such a basic. If we are privileged, we don't even take a moment to realize it. But it's when you hear that there are 47% of all of us urban populations who don't have access to water, it's something that is quite disconcerting. And then we have 49% of our population in the rural areas having access to clean water. Again, meaning 51% of our rural population does not have access to safe water.
And local non-bank financial services provider Sanlam Kenya has launched Flexi Hela, a savings solution. The life savings product, to be administered by Sanlam Life Kenya, features a life cover for up to 4 dependent children. To provide an end-to-end digital distribution of Flexi Hela, Sanlam Kenya has partnered with MTech Services, a local digital online insurance platform that provides an entirely paperless ecosystem for the insurance industry. Speaking during the launch, Sanlam Kenya CEO Dr. Nyamemba Tumbo noted that the innovation is in line with Sanlam's commitment to improving its product offering, digitizing its distribution channels, and delivering services more effectively to the market.
We have named it Flex Hela. Hela ni pesa tu, si ndio? And it's flexible. Why do we say so? Unlike the other products that are available conventionally in the insurance industry, this is very unique in the sense that you can purchase cover today, and if in the event the unfortunate happens today, again it responds. There's no waiting period. One of the features of this life cover. The other one, as you save, you can access the money at the time of need. So long as your policy is active, you can access the money that you need from what you have saved. You solve the problem and keep the policy active. It does not lapse. Fortunately, again, this policy does not have a limit as to when it expires. It only expires when the main member passes on.
Well, now in sports, Wayne Rooney has been appointed as the new head coach of Major League Soccer side DC United, making it Rooney's second job in management after he left Derby County last month. England and Manchester United's record goal scorer spent 18 months at DC United and captained the side before joining Derby as a player coach in January 2020. Rooney went on to manage the club through a period when they were in administration and was in charge as they were relegated to League One last season. DC United have been without a manager since April are second bottom of the Eastern Conference and were beaten 7-0 by Philadelphia Union on Friday. Interim head coach Chad Ashton will remain in charge of the team until Rooney has received his work visa. Well, it is a wrap on Newswatch tonight. Thank you so much for watching. On behalf of the whole team that has made this bulletin a success, we appreciate you. I'm Tess Jenga, and our sign language interpreter is Fiona Mweresa. God willing, see you tomorrow, same place, same time. For now, have a good night and be blessed.